New Zealand, 1973. A 5-year-old girl named Lucy Lawless watches Enter the Dragon on TV with her brothers. She's captivated. Bruce Lee moves like no one she's ever seen. She tells her father, "I want to be strong like him." Her father smiles. Bruce Lee is a martial arts master. "You're a little girl." Lucy doesn't care. By the 1990s, Lucy Lawless becomes Xena Warrior Princess, one of television's most iconic action heroines, watched by millions worldwide. But her real story begins in 1995, when she met Dan Inosanto and discovered Bruce Lee's philosophy shaped everything she brought to Xena. This isn't a story of Lucy fighting Bruce. Bruce died when Lucy was 5. This is the documented story of how a young New Zealand girl, inspired by Bruce Lee's screen presence and philosophy, became a theater actress. Then shocked Hollywood by transforming into a physical action star without traditional martial arts background. In 1995, preparing for Xena, Lucy sought out Dan Inosanto and other martial artists who knew Bruce's training methods. What she learned changed how she approached the role, making Xena not just a fighter, but a philosophical warrior embodying Bruce Lee's principles. By 1995 to 2001, Xena becomes cultural phenomenon, and Lucy Lawless becomes symbol of female empowerment in action television. Lucy Lawless is born Mount Albert, Auckland, New Zealand, 1968. Grows up in large family, 5 brothers, 1 sister. As the only girl among brothers, Lucy learns early to be tough, competitive, assertive. 1973. Watching Enter the Dragon at age 5 impacts her deeply. Bruce Lee's confidence. His philosophy about strength, coming from discipline. It resonates with young Lucy growing up surrounded by boys. Lucy doesn't pursue martial arts as child, instead focuses on performing arts, singing, acting. Studies theater, works in New Zealand television. Builds acting career through traditional dramatic roles. 1994, age 26. Lucy gets small role on Hercules, the legendary Journeys fantasy action show filmed in New Zealand. Producers notice her screen presence, physicality, willingness to do stunts. 1995. They offer her lead role in new spin-off series, Xena Warrior Princess. A female action hero warrior fighter, complex character with physical demands beyond typical TV roles. Lucy accepts but realizes she's unprepared physically. She has no martial arts background, limited stunt training, hasn't done sustained action choreography. 1995. Preparing for Xena, Lucy takes intensive training seriously. Producers hire stunt coordinators, fight choreographers, weapons trainers. During training, Lucy learns many choreographers studied or were influenced by Bruce Lee's approach to screen fighting, making it look real, powerful, philosophical rather than just violent. Lucy asks about Bruce Lee constantly. How did he make fighting look so meaningful? How did he convey philosophy through physical action? One choreographer, who trained with people connected to Bruce's legacy, says, Bruce believed fighting on screen should express characters' inner truth. It's not about looking cool, it's about showing who the character is through how they fight. This fascinates Lucy. She wants to understand this approach deeply, through industry connections. Lucy is introduced to Dan Inosanto during a martial arts film convention in Los Angeles. Dan occasionally advises on film projects, teaches seminars on Bruce Lee's philosophy. Lucy approaches Dan humbly. "Mr. Inosanto, I'm playing a warrior character on TV. I want to understand Bruce Lee's philosophy about martial arts and character. I'm not a martial artist, I'm an actress trying to portray one authentically." Dan appreciates her honesty and humility. Dan Inosanto spends several hours with Lucy discussing Bruce Lee's approach to martial arts and screen fighting. Dan explains, Bruce believed every fight scene should reveal character, How you fight shows who you are: aggressive, defensive, strategic, emotional. Xena should fight differently based on her emotional state, her relationships, her growth. Lucy takes notes intensely. So fighting is acting? Dan: exactly. Bruce was an actor first, martial artist second in his own view. He used martial arts to express character, not just to look impressive. That's what made him different from other action stars. Dan also teaches Lucy about economy of motion, one of Bruce's core principles. Don't waste energy on flashy moves that don't serve the character or story. Every technique should have purpose. Lucy applies this to Xena immediately. Instead of making Xena fight identically in every episode, Lucy varies fighting style based on emotional context, more aggressive when angry, more defensive when protective, more strategic when thoughtful. Dan impressed. You're understanding what most martial artists miss, that fighting is communication. Bruce got that completely. 1995 to 2001. Xena, Warrior Princess runs for 6 seasons, becomes international phenomenon. Lucy Lawless becomes cultural icon, symbol of female strength, complexity, action heroism. What sets Xena apart from other action shows? The fighting has philosophical depth. Xena isn't just a warrior, she's a character struggling with redemption, morality, relationships. The fighting reflects this internal struggle. Lucy credits Bruce Lee's philosophy for this approach. I learned from studying Bruce Lee's work through Dan Inosanto, and watching Bruce's films carefully, that action isn't separate from drama. How Xena fights is the drama. It's her expressing her internal state physically. Critics notice Xena receives acclaim for being more than typical action show. It's philosophical, complex, emotionally resonant. Lucy receives multiple award nominations. Lucy does many of her own stunts despite no martial arts background, embodying Bruce's philosophy about dedication and hard work, overcoming lack of traditional training. In 1997 interview, Lucy says, Bruce Lee inspired me as a 5-year-old. Not because I wanted to fight, because I wanted to be strong, confident, unafraid. That's what I bring to Xena. Strength isn't just physical, it's philosophical, emotional, moral. Dan Inosanto later says about Lucy, she understood Bruce's philosophy better than many martial artists I've taught. She got that martial arts is self-expression, that fighting reveals character, that physical action should serve emotional truth. She applied that to Xena brilliantly. Lucy's approach influences next generation of female action characters on television: Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Alias, others. Showrunners cite Xena as proving female action heroes can be complex, philosophical, not just physically strong. 2000s to 2010s. Lucy continues acting, but often speaks about Bruce Lee's influence on her career. Bruce Lee showed that action stars can be thoughtful, philosophical, artistically serious. That encouraged me to bring depth to Xena beyond just sword fights and kicks. Lucy never claims to be martial artist, always honest about her theatrical background. But she embodies Bruce's philosophy: dedication, constant learning, using physical expression for emotional communication. In 2019 interview about action heroines, Bruce Lee created template for meaningful action. Fight scenes that say something about character, about themes, about humanity. I tried to honor that with Xena, not by copying Bruce's style, by understanding his philosophy and applying it to my own character. The contrast with others who exploit Bruce Lee's name. Fabricators claim they trained with Bruce, false. Exaggerate martial arts credentials. Use Bruce's name for marketing without understanding philosophy. Lucy Lawless honestly states she was inspired by Bruce as child. Never met him, sought out his actual students to understand philosophy. Applied that understanding to create meaningful action character. Always gave credit where due. The entertainment and martial arts community respects this authenticity. Stunt coordinators who worked on Xena, martial artists who consulted on show, critics who reviewed it all acknowledge Lucy's genuine approach. Lucy Lawless never met Bruce Lee, never trained in traditional martial arts before Xena, but she understood and applied Bruce's philosophy about action as character expression better than many who claim direct connection to Bruce. She honored Bruce's legacy not through false claims of training with him, but through genuinely understanding his philosophy and applying it thoughtfully to her work. This is the right way to honor a legend, not fabrication, but understanding and application. New Zealand, 1973. A 5-year-old girl watched Bruce Lee and learned strength comes from within. That girl became actress, then was offered warrior role. She sought Bruce Lee's actual students to understand his philosophy, applied it to create one of television's most iconic action heroines. Xena ran 6 seasons, inspired millions, proved female action heroes could be philosophical and complex. Lucy never claimed false connections, just studied, learned, applied, honored. This is Lucy Lawless's true story, the warrior princess who honored the dragon through understanding, not lies.